Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Kirby, thanks. Back on the Wang Yi meeting, you said that you would encourage China to be helpful in the Middle East. Can you elaborate on what you would like to see out of it? Do you want them to condemn Hamas? Do you want them to use their influence with Tehran behind the scenes? And then separately, you have also called out Beijing in the past for providing support for Putin's war effort in Ukraine. What's your current assessment on whether that support is ongoing, whether that's reaching the level of a red line? You sort of didn't want to get into it, but it was non-lethal aid that was provided a couple months ago, so where does that stand now? Obviously, Putin went to China a couple weeks ago, so their alliance seems to be strong.
We still haven't seen any indication that China is willing to provide lethal capabilities to the Russian military. We just haven't seen that. And as for them being helpful, they are able to have conversations in some places, like Tehran, that we aren't. So we'll see what Mr. What Wang Yi says when he gets here tomorrow or this afternoon. But there's I think it would be irresponsible if we didn't try to explore this issue with them and see what their thoughts and perspectives are.
Thanks, John. Back to the numbers, aid groups, including the United Nations, that are working in Gaza, cite those numbers of the health ministry. Are they wrong to do that?
They can make their own decisions about what numbers they want to cite. We're not going to cite them.
The State Department is also using these numbers internally. Sorry.
I was going to actually mention that. Thank you, Raquel. I mean, the State Department has cited those numbers.
Has cited them in the past, but what we've seen
is the administration's position that it is now Hamas is now manipulating the numbers now, but not before?
Well, do you remember that attack on the hospital? And what did the Gaza Ministry of Health put out? Something like 500. They slapped the number 500 on it, within the hour of that attack. And of course, the same Ministry of Health said it was an Israeli airstrike. So we know that's not true. And we've now since found out that the numbers aren't that high either. They never got up to 500. Now, it was at least a couple of hundred, and that's terrible, and that's atrocious, and that's sad. And we all obviously grieve with the families and loved ones who are affected by that. But the numbers are not reliable. They're just not reliable. And I don't need to tell you how to do your jobs, but if you're going to report casualty figures out of Gaza, I would frankly recommend you don't choose numbers put out by an organization that's run by a terrorist organization.